Hey fellas, how you doing? I was going to work on the pool today as well as the yard, but it rained like a banshee, and that's what we're working with right now. So the yard, and also today is my maintenance day, and I wanted to bounce some stuff around to you. All right, so my wife just took this. This is a Honda CRV 2017 model. I can't tell you. It's probably one of the best cars I've ever had in my life. And this is a 2000 Lexus GS 350. I used to have a sports car, but I guess I'm a sedan guy now. In the future, I'll be looking for like a little truck. So I think little truck wise, I'll try to get something like a Ranger or one of the old Tacomas, but got any suggestions about an older vehicle? I don't care if it's 10 or 15 years old. Just something I can actually work on. So anyways, let me, where do I want to do this? I tell you what, I will sit you down here. And I'll try not to meander too much. Had a very difficult. There's an 7:30. I get there at 7:30. There's an 8 o'clock jiu-jitsu class, and after class, I maybe been home. It's now 10:04. I've maybe been home like 20, 25 minutes, just enough to run the shower. After our mat time, a lot of the younger guys will stay around, and now it's summer, so there were quite a few of them, and they were. It started off nice, but then they started to get a little bit upset, and they were like asking me, like, "Why should we try hard? How am I going to get a job if they're going to, in a couple of years, replace us all?" And what I told them is something that I think is still possible, but I'm not sure. They're not going to be able to have enough robots to build roads and stuff like that in at least for quite a while, as well as truck driving. And there are just so many nuances that a human being will notice. For example, like when the Tesla is going like 90 miles an hour on the highway, but there's a brick wall behind a sheet or a cloth that has the road drum in it, and the Tesla just drives right through it. I mean, I cannot imagine you being the owner of a trucking company and you put your complete faith in one of these AI Tesla trucks, and it kills like 10 or 15 people, and now you're like 9, 10 million. It's just, no. There's too much of a need for good men and women who are willing to work. But I understand it's so hard to tell them. There's lots of our infrastructure that needs to be fixed. There are not going to be so many office jobs. There'll be jobs like if you're going to do anything with AI, engineering AI. If you're like a computer engineer, I suggest you transfer over to AI. I believe that's the way the future's going. So, but we're still going to need carpenters. We're still going to need restaurants. We're still going to need, anyways, it's just, there's a lot of things that they just can't replace. Especially like the power. And just fucking minute. I think I made my point. So, I think the hardest thing to convince a young man is that he's still in his dreamer phase, and this is the time you're supposed to dare to be great. If you want to be a rock star, a baseball player, or you want to write music or write movie scripts or TV scripts, or you want to author a book, a mystery, or something like that, this is your time to do that up until your age 24. But pretty much when you're 20, and these guys are 16, 17, 18 years old. 14, sorry, 14 was the youngest guy. And I don't think a lot of young men nowadays see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if they do see the light at the end of the tunnel, they're pretty much under the impression that it's a train coming the other way. So I did the best I can for them, but the way I grew up, the world I know, it's changing. And here's the other thing. I actually voted for Donald Trump this time in 2024. But they're doing some shit I don't like at all. You can't tell anybody who's rational or reasonable and believes in some of the conspiracy stories, all the conspiracies, pretty much 90% of the conspiracies I thought were bullshit when I was growing up, turned out to be true. And so you have the AG, Bondi, get up there and say, like the first couple of days, I have the Epstein files on my desk, and now nothing to see here, he killed himself. Come on, man. And those are just promises made and promises not kept. So you only have so much political capital to spend, and I think that was a massive mistake. So I don't know why they did it, or they just decided to do a 180, but it is what it is. So I'm not. Anyways, back to the young guys. It's hard sometimes. Younger men, I'm talking about from 14 to 18 now. And I'm not, when I say this, I'm not trying to be mean or like I'm like I'm treating you like you're ignorant or like I'm talking down to you. But you have to be honest with yourself. Your brain's not actually fully developed, but you as a man have all the emotions of a human being. So there's a lot of things that aren't going to make sense to you. And that's okay. You don't have to have the answer to every question in order to live a decent life. We're still going to need mechanics. We're still going to need people to do things. Oh, hang on. I'm getting called. I don't know if the cats work for me or sometimes I think I work for the cats. I remember when she was nonverbal. Fit in my hand. Anyways, I'll leave the door open a little bit, but so she can get back out. But and you know the other thing, young men now have to worry about things I never even considered. Back when I was, the biggest break I got in my life is when a judge didn't send me to jail for the rest of my life and gave me an opportunity to join the military. And I tried to I still think you can make that a career. I think if you are a guy like I was, I have a family now. I claim my wife's family. Do I have my own family? No. Did I grow up on my own? Yes. Do I think that maybe a short tour in the military, if you don't have a roadmap to get where you want to go, you can at least get some things instilled in you that are very important for you to be successful as a man? Yes. Being on time, listening twice as much as you speak, being able to adapt, improvise, and overcome, being able to do with harsh realities that most people go to college don't have a clue about, being able to assume responsibility for $1 million pieces of equipment. Like somebody has to sign for that helicopter and that jet and that boat and those tanks and those guns and what. Anyways, let me tell you something. The Army frowns on it if you lose any of that shit. So, anyways, I do believe you can still find your way if you do some time in the military, especially if you need help with confidence and learning out how the system works or how the game's played. I believe in the police now. I believe in the federal government now. I think there are lots of positions where you're going to do stuff. The border, customs, DEA, ATF, all of those other places. And I'm not just talking about that. I'm just talking about the things that I was offered to. You could become a corrections officer, although that's a lot tougher gig than anybody's going to lead you to believe. So every one of the officers I've known have been assaulted at least 2 or 3 times. So anyways, let me get back to the point. All that to say that this is my overall point. The light at the end of the tunnel is not a train coming the other way. When I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s, we were going to run out of oil. And then after that, we had to get rid of Freon because there was a hole in the ozone, and we were all going to die if we didn't get rid of Freon and I can't remember the other stuff. And then after that, it was, again, it was oil shortages, and then it was war, it was Middle East, and what was the last one? Climate change. And all of a sudden, both of the polar caps are putting on ice. They're getting bigger and bigger. So I think we have more to fear of a small little ice age than we do about it getting too warm. So you're going to be okay. I hope you understand that you have 3 parts to your life, or 3 phases of your life. You have from when you're a young man to you becoming an adult. And that, to me, you need a crucible. You need to find something where somebody sits you down. For me, I believe it's when a guy goes from 12 to 13. There needs to be something where somebody sits you down and goes, look, you're not a boy anymore. Here's the things that are going to be expected of you. Maybe you go out and go camping or go fishing or go for a hike or whatever you do. But at the end of that, you figure out that, okay, I have to take on the responsibilities of a man as opposed to being a boy. And then you end up in your dreamer phase till you're 24. And then you have a career phase and you have a retirement phase. And if you do enough work during your dreamer and especially your career phase, your retirement phase will be enjoyable. Ugh. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Ay, Dios mío. All right, hang on. I don't work for you. What? Now I can pet you? All right, come on. What? Come on. You want outside? Okay. Anyway, so hope that makes sense. And it's not all doom and gloom. I'm telling you. The other thing is, I think maybe in a couple weeks, maybe by the end of July, we're going to hit the $40,000 mark for the drip stocks. I don't know. Do you think we could make another $5,000 by the end of the year? So that would make us. Anyways, it's just insane. We're doing really well. We're doing really well because we have a plan, and we're going to be long-term disciplined investors. All right? Dollar cost, hey, doesn't matter. I love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can, and if you can't, you can't. You got to take care of yourself. I'll title this, "That Light at the End of the Tunnel is Not a Train Coming." All right? Bye-bye.